You look tired.
Tired is kicking my ass. I would kill somebody for a carb right now.
I don't know where you could find one.
You're such a bitch.
Oh, would you like a bite? Come on, eat the fucking sandwich.
How's it going out there, social media lands and all other lands? Welcome to an all-new movie review. So in this movie review, we're going to be talking and reviewing an amazing film that just was released on HBO this year, that came out last year, and is based on a true story starring the great Hugh Jackman. So we're going to get right into that. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the awesome content I put up, or any of the reviews or types of videos I do. And as always, people, hit that bell notification button too as well, so that you won't miss out as well, because it will notify you when a new video gets released. So let's get right into this review and see what it's all about. So welcome all social media lands, welcome to an all new movie review. So all social media lands, and subsequent social media lands, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all these great places, thank you for checking out my video. And as always, you guys rock. Anyway, so to get into this review, like I said before, we're going to be talking about a film that Hugh Jackman starred in that just got released on HBO on recently this year, but actually got a release back in 2019. And it is based on a true story about an interesting con scheme, basically, of getting taxpayer dollars from the great taxpayers of New Jersey. And that film happens to be called, ready for it? Bad Education. Oh yeah, Bad Education. And like I said, it's based on the true story about a man named Frank DeSano, who actually schemed a whole bunch of money out of taxpayer dollars from the school he worked for, along with a few of the other people he worked with, and basically got away with hundreds of thousands of dollars before being caught, which I thought was kind of an interesting story because I had never even heard about this until I saw this movie. So like I was saying, this film is directed none other by a gentleman named Corey Finley. Yeah, Corey Finley. So Corey Finley, this is his second directing film. So he's only done one other film that he's directed, but he has written a few other things over the years. But most notably, his first feature film, which was the film called Thoroughbreds. That's right, people. He directed Thoroughbreds, which is an interesting kind of psychological thriller film that has to do with somebody being abused, and basically somebody takes the fall for this person that, you know, they take the fall that they killed the person that the other person killed. And it has a great cast too. One of Anton Yelchin's last films that he did, you know, that was released after his death, unfortunately, his untimely death in 2016. Now, when it comes to Bad Education, once again, I thought he did a really good job of bringing the realism to this film. Now, this film, like I said, was based on a true story about Frank DeSano and his accomplices and stuff like that. And Corey did a good job of keeping all the true facts in the film. There were a few, you know, ad-libs and stuff like that that were changed for the film, some of the names and stuff like that. But for the most part, the movie is very factual and very on point to the actual real story. And I thought Corey did an amazing job giving us that real, feeling, and giving us the real story so that we could be enlightened to this interesting story that is a horrible in it all, because they stole money from taxpayers, our taxpaying dollars, in the state of New Jersey. But at the same time, still, it's like how they got away with it for so long was interesting as well, because wow, people really weren't checking anything when it comes to school funding. And I thought that was kind of interesting too as well. But Corey did an amazing job directing it. And if you haven't seen Bad Education yet, definitely check it out for Corey's directing. He was amazing as a director. So this movie has a really fantastic cast. And this cast isn't super huge, but the three main people that are pretty much the main characters of the film did a really exceptional job of bringing these characters to life and showing us who these people were that committed these crimes, and also the people that ended up eventually catching them. So to start us off in this awesome cast is none other than the main character himself, Mr. Frank DeSano, Mr. Hugh Jackman! Oh yeah! Hugh Jackman! Oh yeah! So, of course, we all know Hugh Jackman as a.k.a. Wolverine / Logan from all the X-Men films, starting from X-Men in 2000 to his last final appearance as Logan in the film Logan in 2017. Now, he also has been in a whole bunch of other films over the years, and he's just a really great, versatile actor. I mean, he was in the films such as Les Miserables. He was also in films like Swordfish and stuff like that. And he's just a really fun actor. I absolutely love Hugh. I think he's a great, amazing person too as well. And he's always a joy to watch in anything he does. Now, a couple of films that I really enjoy him in, and I also think are somewhat underrated films of his that a lot of people don't talk about, I feel. So the first film I like to talk about is the film called, ready for it? Kate and Leopold. Oh yeah, Kate and Leopold. Da-da! This movie is so underrated and such a great film, and is also directed by James Mangold, who directed Logan, also 3:10 to Yuma remake, and the other Wolverine film as well. But this is a really fantastic film that deals with sci-fi, time travel, history, and romance and all that kind of stuff, along with some comedy. And it's got a really good cast of Liev Schreiber, Brecca Meyer, Meg Ryan. You had, her name always evades me. She was in the American Pie films as as one of the friends. She has a show called Russian Doll. I always forget her name. But anyway, she's in it too. And it's just a really fun film because along with the sci-fi-ness, the comedy, the rom-com and stuff like that, you get a really great performance by Hugh Jackman where he just really brings to life a 19th century person that is supposedly one of the people that invented elevators. And I think this was a really classic role for Hugh because he really brought like the gentleman essence to the character and really shined in the film, and I really enjoyed him in it. And that's probably why James Mangold eventually probably ended up directing his Wolverine films down the line, probably because he saw how great of an actor Hugh was. And it's just a really well-rounded film too as well, really well written, super funny, super awesome. If you haven't seen Kate and Leopold, definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch, really fun, and just a really great rom-com / sci-fi type of deal, along with, time travel, which is really fun. The second film that Hugh Jackman did that I really enjoy and think is another underrated performance of his is a great Woody Allen film that came out in 2006. And it's just a really fun, awesome murder mystery kind of / comedy rom-com a little bit that has a really all-star great cast. And that, of course, is a film called Scoop. Oh yeah, The Scoop. Like you're getting a scoop for a magazine or the scoop of like a story. Scoop, yeah. So Scoop is a really great Woody Allen directed and acted film, along with the beautiful, amazing Scarlett Johansson and the great Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman plays actually the main bad guy in the film, who is a murderer that uses basically tarot cards as his calling card. And Scarlett Johansson basically plays this reporter that's trying to get the scoop on him and, try to basically figure out if he's really this killer or not. And at the same time, she's starting to fall in love with him as well because he's very charismatic and all this stuff. Now, Hugh was so awesome in this film because, once again, he just brought a great presence to the character. He was very gentleman-like in the film, very much similar to how he is in real life. And at the same time, he just brought a really great, bad guy evil vibe to the character, too, which was really fun to see, because you're so used to seeing Hugh play the good guy. So that was really fun to see him play the bad guy character and give us a whole new kind of tone to his acting ability, along with such a great cast of, Scarlett Johansson and Woody Allen themselves being a part of the film. And it's just a really fun film, too. If you haven't seen Scoop, definitely check it out, people. It's worth a watch. Really good Woody Allen film. Now, when it comes to his characterization of Frank Tassone in the film, he did an amazing job with this role. Now, I don't agree that this is his best performance to date. He definitely is a really amazing performance, but at the same time, he did a really amazing job in the film, and also just bringing to life and giving us the characterization of who Frank Tassone was, and kind of, how this guy thought, and how he, why he did what he did, and also just kind of the type of person Frank was. and just how, why he got mixed up in all of this and stuff like that. And I just thought Hugh did a really good job of bringing that all to light and giving us a really great performance. Don't get me wrong, it's a super great performance and just a really well done performance by Hugh. I would say definitely he deserves some accolades for this performance. Definitely get nominated because he was really amazing in this film. It's a really great film. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it out, especially if you're a Hugh Jackman fan. So that brings me to the second actor I like to talk about, or actress in this film. And that is none other than Miss Badass herself, Miss Allison Janney! Oh yeah! Allison Janney! Yeah! Oh my gosh, she is absolutely freaking hilarious. Anything she's in, I absolutely always enjoy her. I think she's a great comedian. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed that she's been in that I think she does a really amazing and fantastic job in is none other than a great 2015 film directed by Paul Feig called Spy. Oh yeah, Spy. Spy is a super hilarious comedy film, like I said, directed by Paul Feig, starring Rose Byrne, Melissa McCarthy, Jude Law, Jason Statham, a huge ensemble cast in this film, and it's just super hilarious. And Allison Janney plays the boss of all the agents at the agency, and she just brings in that great, like, kind of motherly kind of vibe, but at the same time being serious but comical too as well, but also very sarcastic. And she just did that to the T in this film and was like super hilarious. I absolutely loved her in this film, and just basically her every time she talked to Melissa McCarthy, you're just laughing your butt off at how funny she was and just how endearing at the same time she was, but being stern and funny and sarcastic. It just was a really amazing performance by Allison. If you haven't seen Spy, definitely check it out for her performance. She was really superb in the film. Now, the second film Allison Janney was in that I really enjoyed, and I think is probably her best performance of her entire career in this film. And this film is just a really fantastic film that came out in 1999 with a huge ensemble cast as well. And that, of course, is a film called 10 Things I Hate About You. Oh yeah, 10 Things I Hate About You, which got turned into a TV show also at one point, which it wasn't too bad of a show, but the movie is still the best out of it all. But this awesome film just, had a huge, great cast. It had Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it, Larissa on Loki. It had Julia Stiles in it, Heath Ledger, the great Heath Ledger. It had Andrew Keegan in it. This movie had everybody in it. Larry Miller, directed by Gil Bellows. It was just a really fun film. And Allison Janney plays basically the kids' counselor, basically. Life coach, basically, and to tell these kids, this is what they need to do to get to here and there, the counselor and stuff. But yet she was like the most sarcastic, funniest person in the entire film. Every time she had a line with somebody, it was absolutely hilarious. And the whole time she's like trying to write an erotic book too at the same time while giving these kids advice, for being, if they got in trouble for something or some reason. And just every time she talked to one of the kids, it was absolutely die-hard laughing. It was so on point. She was amazing in this film. If you haven't seen 10 Things You Hate About You, definitely check out Performance. It was perfection to the T. And a great example of what sometimes these counselors are really like that. Now, it comes to performance in Bad Education. Unfortunately, her part isn't super huge in the film. Like, she has not very much screen time. But every time she was on the screen, she was really good and really brought to life the character she was playing. I just thought it was a really well done performance, even though it was such a small part. It still very well coincided with Hugh's performance, and it worked really good together to give us the story of these two people and kind of, what their goal was and kind of where they came from and so forth. It was just a really great performance. If you haven't seen Bad Education, check out Allison Janney in it. She was perfection. So that brings me to the final actress I like to talk about in this film. And that's none other than the reporter herself that basically busted this case wide open in the film, and also the portraying of the actual high school student that broke this case wide open for New Jersey as well. And the actress is none other known as Geraldine Viswanathan. Oh yeah, Geraldine. Oh yeah. So Geraldine is pretty much a new actress. She hasn't done a ton of stuff. She's done a few other films, some TV stuff, some commercials and stuff like that. But other than that, she's really just coming into her own, becoming a really amazing comedian and just a really fun actress. Now, a couple things she's been in that I've really enjoyed and thought she was really good in was none other than a great film that came out in 2018 that I think is a very underrated coming-of-age comedy film. And that, of course, is a film called Blockers. Oh yeah, Blockers. This movie got a lot of crap when it first got released in theaters, but I think it's a really standout, great, like, teen, angst, teen, sex comedy along the lines of American Pie type of film that was really fun and had a really great cast. I mean, you had Ike Barinholtz in it, you had, John Cena in it, you had just a really great ensemble cast in this film. And I just think it was super funny and super hilarious. And Geraldine's character in the film was really fun because she plays John Cena's daughter. And she's like a sports jock and stuff like that, but she wants to lose her virginity on prom night. And so the whole, film, she's like portraying kind of like this kind of sporty, macho girl, but at the same time she has a lot of interest in wanting to lose her virginity and be a girl too as well. And she just really played that very well and gave us this really great funny performance. She had a lot of great one-liners throughout the film and also just worked really well with all the other girls that she was paired up with and the other people that she was acting with. She just did a really fun job, I thought. And I think that Blockers is a really worthy film to see her performance in because she did a really good job. If you haven't seen Blockers, give it a whirl, people. Give it a chance. It's worth a watch for Geraldine's performance. Now, the second thing that Geraldine was in that I really enjoyed is the great TBS miniseries that they've done 2 seasons now that stars Daniel Radcliffe and Steve Buscemi. And that is the show called Miracle Workers. Oh yeah, Miracle Workers. This is an absolutely hilarious miniseries TV show. They've done 2 seasons, like I said. The first one is basically about the Earth is going to be destroyed by God. The second season is about the Dark Ages. And Geraldine plays 2 different characters in each season, and she is absolutely hilarious on point. She also plays kind of the straight person in the series as well. But if you haven't seen either season of Miracle Workers, definitely check it out. It's a really funny miniseries and with a great ensemble cast as well. And Geraldine is really amazing in it. Check her out in it. She's really good. Now, when it comes to performance in Bad Education, once again, her part is kind of like Allison Janney's. It isn't super huge, but when she is in it, she's really fantastic. And just really brought to light, who this, high school student was that ended up, basically solving this case. Bringing it to light so that it got the justice it needed. And the girl that she's portraying was just this normal high school student that was a reporter basically for her school newspaper that ended up just happened to come across this, finding the information and put it out there. And Geraldine did a really good job of portraying that and giving us this really kind of interesting kind of backstory to her too, and kind of, and enlightening us to who this woman was and basically her bringing this great story to light. It was a really interesting performance, but also at the same time, really fantastic performance. If you're a fan of Geraldine Viswanathan, definitely check out Bad Education for her performance. She was really amazing in it. So if you're not familiar with what Bad Education is about, basically the movie is about Frank DeSone and all of his accomplices that he worked with at the Roslyn, New Jersey high school, where he and his fellow colleagues embezzled over hundreds of thousands of dollars for their own expenses through the school. And basically, got all this money, used it for what they want, and basically would have kept doing it unless they got caught. And pretty much it tells the story a little bit about who Frank DeSone is, who the other people are a little bit, and kind of his descent through the ranks, and how, basically he went from, where he was to him ending up in jail because of the crime that he committed along with the other people. It's a really amazing film. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was really well done. I was really blown away by it, all the performances in the film, and just a really wonderful film. A huge 10 golden movie boxes up on this one. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a whirl, people. It's worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you for liking, and also thank you for being a subscriber. And if this is your first time here, don't forget to check out the links down below for any of the cool other accoutrement I do downstairs between my Patreon, between checking out the Horror Pack, which is a great subscription service that comes right to your door of great horror films every month in either DVD or Blu-ray format. And that code downstairs will give you an awesome discount on your first month if you're interested in checking it out for the first time. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.